Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Podcast Center. Today, we have a really exciting topic to talk about. It's something many students wonder about: should homework be banned?
That's right, Marco. It's a big question, and we know lots of people have different opinions. Some say homework is helpful, while others think it causes too much stress. But before we dive into it, we'll share some English tips to help you during our conversation.
Exactly. As we talk, listen for some useful phrases you can use in your own conversations. For example, when you're giving your opinion, you can say "I think" or "in my opinion." These are easy ways to start your thoughts.
And if you're agreeing with someone, you can say "I agree" or "that's true." But if you disagree, you can say "I don't think so" or "I see it differently." These are simple but powerful phrases.
Right. So, as we debate, listen closely, and remember, expressing your opinion in English is important, whether you agree or disagree.
And don't worry if you don't know all the words, just practice. English is about communication, not perfection.
Exactly. So, let's dive into this big question: should homework be banned? We'll be talking about both sides of the issue today. Stay tuned as we explore the pros and cons.
And as we do, remember, learning English is all about improving bit by bit. Whether it's homework or not, every conversation is a chance.
All right, Katharina, let's dive into the debate. I'll start. Personally, I think homework is important. It helps students practice what they learn in class and remember it better. For example, if I study math problems at home, I can improve and feel more confident in school.
I understand your point, Marco, but sometimes homework can be too much. Students spend so many hours in school, and when they come home, they're tired. They need time to relax, do hobbies, or spend time with family. Too much homework can make them feel stressed.
That's true, Katharina. But if students didn't have homework, would they forget the lessons they learned in school? Practicing at home can help them stay sharp.
That's a good point, Marco. But maybe the homework should be different for each student. Some might need more practice, and others might not need as much. It should be manageable.
Yeah, I agree with that. Maybe we should have homework that's short but meaningful, like a few questions or a small task that helps us understand the topic better.
Exactly. And what about homework that's fun? For example, reading a short story or doing a creative project. That way, students learn without feeling too much pressure.
I like that idea. Fun homework could make learning more interesting, and it would give students a chance to be creative while practicing what they know.
But remember, Marco, not every student likes doing homework at home. Some students might prefer learning in a classroom with the teacher there to help them immediately.
True. Some students might need more support. Maybe we could have a mix of both classroom learning and short homework tasks that help students review.
That sounds like a good solution. It's about finding the right balance. Too much homework can cause stress, but no homework might leave students unprepared.
Exactly. It's all about making learning effective and enjoyable at the same time. So, Katharina, we've talked about finding a balance, but what about the idea that homework teaches responsibility? When students do their own work at home, they learn how to manage their time and stay organized.
That's an interesting point, Marco, but I think there are other ways to teach responsibility, like setting goals or organizing tasks during school hours. Too much homework can make students feel overwhelmed, and that might lead to bad habits instead of good ones.
I see what you mean. It's true that if students get distressed with homework, it can affect their motivation. Maybe instead of more homework, schools can focus on time management skills and teaching students how to study effectively.
Exactly. Time management is key. And honestly, when students have too much homework, they don't have time to relax, and that can affect their mental health. We should focus on the quality of homework, not just the quantity.
I agree. Quality homework's something that's interesting, challenging, but not too much might be the answer. Also, learning doesn't have to always happen with pen and paper. It can be fun and interactive too.
Yes. For example, students could work on projects that encourage creativity or watch educational videos and discuss them. That way, they're still learning without the pressure of hours of homework.
That sounds like a great idea. But how can we make sure that these fun activities still help students learn important lessons?
Well, Marco, we can make sure the tasks are connected to what students are learning in class. For instance, if they're learning about animals, they could watch a documentary and write a short reflection. It's still learning, but it's more engaging.
That's a really good point. It's about finding ways to make learning feel less like a chore and more like an exciting challenge.
Exactly. If students feel excited about what they're learning, they'll naturally want to do their homework and it won't feel like a burden.
Okay, Katharina, you've got some great ideas. But what about students who really need extra practice? They might not understand everything in class, and homework helps them catch up.
That's true, Marco. Some students might need more help, but maybe teachers can provide more support during class time, so students don't feel like they need extra homework to keep up.
Good point. But without homework, students might forget things by the time they're tested. They need to keep practicing on their own.
I get it, but if the homework is too much, it can make students anxious. A few tasks here and there might be okay, but we shouldn't overwhelm them.
Yeah, I agree. A small amount of homework that's useful can help students stay on track without adding stress.
Exactly. It's about finding a balance. Too little homework might leave students unprepared, but too much can make them feel exhausted.
Maybe schools could try giving homework only on certain days or just for certain subjects.
I like that idea. It could give students time to focus on other activities without feeling overloaded.
And it would also allow teachers to focus more on classroom lessons without worrying about too much homework.
Right. Less homework might make class time more productive and fun for everyone.
Okay, Katharina, let's think about how much time students actually spend on homework. Some students spend hours every day. Is that really the best way to learn?
You're right, Marco. That much time can be tiring. But maybe the problem isn't the homework itself, it's how much teachers assign. If the tasks were shorter, it might be easier to manage.
Yeah, I see your point. But for students who want to do well, a bit more homework can help them understand the subject better. Some students are willing to spend the time if they know it will help them.
That's true. But for those students who aren't as confident, too much homework might make them feel defeated. They might lose interest in the subject altogether.
Good point. So, what if homework were optional for some students? Those who need more practice can choose to do extra, but it wouldn't be required for everyone.
I like that idea. It would give students more freedom to decide what they need to work on without feeling forced to do something they don't think helps them.
Exactly. And for the students who feel confident, they could use their time to relax or do other activities.
That could make learning feel less stressful and more enjoyable. It's all about making sure students are learning, but not at the cost of their happiness.
Right. It's important to make learning feel fun and rewarding, not like a burden.
Exactly, Marco. It's about finding that balance, so students can enjoy learning and have time to recharge.
Katharina, one more thing to consider is that homework helps teach discipline. It encourages students to be independent and take responsibility for their learning.
That's true, Marco, but students shouldn't feel overwhelmed by it. Responsibility can also come from setting goals and working towards them during school hours without extra stress at home.
I see your point. But if students don't have homework, would they still have the chance to develop those independent study skills?
Maybe they could. Schools could organize study sessions or group activities that help students work independently, but still have support when they need it.
That's an interesting idea. If schools focused on teaching students how to study, then they could practice those skills in class instead of at home.
Exactly. They could learn how to break big tasks into smaller ones and how to manage their time better, without the pressure of homework.
I like that. And for students who struggle, there could still be extra help available during class time. It would be more balanced.
Right. That way, students would feel like they have control over their learning without feeling burdened by too much homework.
I think we're getting somewhere, Katharina. Balancing responsibility and relaxation is key.
Exactly. It's all about making learning enjoyable and not overwhelming.
Katharina, another thing I'm thinking about is that homework can help prepare students for future responsibilities, like in their careers. Having deadlines and tasks outside of school is something they'll face later in life.
I agree, Marco, but I think we can teach responsibility in other ways. For example, students can learn time management in class through projects or group work, without needing extra work at home.
That's a good point. But what about students who are already very focused and ambitious? Wouldn't they benefit from more homework to challenge themselves?
I get that, But challenging students doesn't always need more homework. Maybe they could have more advanced or creative projects during school time instead of extra work at home.
That's true. They could definitely challenge themselves in a more fun, hands-on way. But not all students have the same goals, right? Some might need extra homework to keep up.
True. But instead of piling on homework, teachers could offer extra help for those who need it during class time or after school, so no one feels left behind.
I like that. It would give students the chance to improve without stressing them out. And those who don't need extra work wouldn't feel burdened.
Exactly. It's all about giving every student what they need without overwhelming them.
Yeah, finding that balance between challenging students and not overwhelming them is important. It's a tricky line to walk.
It really is. But if we can get it right, it would make learning much more enjoyable and effective.
Katharina, another point is that homework allows students to review what they learned in class. Without it, they might forget things quickly and need more time to catch up later.
That's a fair point, Marco. But could students review what they learned during class in a more interactive way? Maybe through activities or discussions instead of just homework.
That could work. But don't you think some students might need the quiet time to focus at home? Some of them might struggle to pay attention in class and need that extra time.
Yes, I agree. But what if students had time during school to work on assignments or study independently with support when needed? It might help them focus better.
Interesting. So, you're saying homework could be replaced with something similar during school hours?
Exactly. This way, students still get the practice they need, but they don't have to worry about taking it home.
I see. But what about students who don't have the best environment at home to study? Wouldn't that be harder for them without homework?
Good point. Maybe homework could be optional for those students who don't have a quiet place to study at home. This way, they wouldn't feel left out.
Yeah, that could work. Offering flexibility to students who need it sounds like a fair solution.
Exactly. Marco, everyone learns differently, so we need to find ways to support all students without making them feel stressed.
Katharina, one more thing to think about is that homework gives parents a chance to see what their children are learning. They can help out if they see their child struggling with a topic.
That's true, Marco. Parents can be involved, but what if the homework is too much for the child? It could make them feel stressed, and parents might not know how to help.
Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes parents get frustrated too if they don't understand the homework. But if it's more manageable, they could help their children more easily.
Exactly. Homework should be simple and clear, so parents can support their kids without it turning into a bigger problem.
So, if homework were reduced, maybe it would be easier for parents to stay involved and support their kids in a positive way.
Yes, and it would make school feel less stressful for everyone: students, parents, and teachers.
I like that idea. Keeping it simple, clear, and helpful is the key.
Right. And by reducing unnecessary homework, we could focus more on creating meaningful, engaging lessons during school time.
Definitely. It's about quality, not quantity, when it comes to homework. Less can sometimes be more.
Exactly. And that way, students could learn without feeling overwhelmed by too much work outside of school.
Katharina, I'm still thinking about how homework can teach time management and prioritization. If students have to juggle multiple assignments at once, it could prepare them for the future.
That's an interesting point, Marco. But we also have to think about the stress it causes. Students already have enough pressure during school hours. Adding more on top of that might not help them learn better.
I agree, but if it's not overwhelming, wouldn't homework give students a chance to practice what they've learned in class and reinforce their understanding?
Sure, but homework should be meaningful. It shouldn't just be busy work. Instead of hours of assignments, what if students worked on projects that are more interactive and engaging?
I like that idea. Projects can help students apply what they've learned in a more creative way. But don't you think some students might need individual time to understand things on their own?
Yes, but there are other ways to give them that support without homework. Teachers can help students during school hours with small group activities, or even one-on-one sessions for those who need it.
That's a good solution. It would allow students to get personalized help, and they wouldn't feel overwhelmed with homework at home.
Exactly. And let's not forget that we live in a world full of distractions. Homework could just add to the stress, while students could use their time outside of school to relax, explore new interests, or take part in activities that help them grow.
I see your point. It's all about balance. Homework shouldn't take away from other important activities like physical exercise or hobbies.
Yes, and with less homework, students might also have more time for socializing with friends or spending time with family, which are also important for their well-being.
True, a balanced life can help students stay happy and focused, which might actually make them more effective learners when they are at school.
Right, Marco? And let's not forget that not all students have the same needs. Some might thrive with a little extra work, while others might struggle. So, a one-size-fits-all homework policy might not be the best idea.
Agreed. It's about providing support in a way that works for each student. Maybe schools should have more flexibility in how they handle homework, depending on the student's needs.
That makes sense. Every student learns differently, and their homework should reflect that. We don't want them to feel stressed or overloaded, but we also want them to grow and learn.
Right. It's all about finding that sweet spot where students can thrive without feeling overwhelmed. Maybe we need more creative solutions like project-based learning or activities that combine learning and fun.
Exactly. We should focus on quality learning experiences that inspire students, not just give them more tasks to complete.
Well, Katharina, I think we've covered a lot today. We've talked about how homework can help students prepare for the future, teach them time management, and give parents a chance to be involved. But we've also seen that too much homework can be stressful, overwhelming, and take away from important activities outside of school.
Exactly, Marco. It's all about balance. Homework should be meaningful and not add unnecessary stress. Instead of just more work, students could benefit from more interactive projects and support during school hours. That way, they still learn, but in a way that's more engaging and fun.
Right. And we also mentioned how different students have different needs. So, homework shouldn't be the same for everyone. Some students may need more time to practice, while others might need less. Schools could offer more flexibility to meet these needs.
Absolutely. The key is to create a system where students can learn without feeling overwhelmed. That means less busy work and more meaningful, hands-on experiences that inspire creativity.
And let's not forget that a balanced lifetime for school, rest, hobbies, and family helps students be more effective learners and happier overall.
Yes, a well-rounded life makes students more focused and better prepared for the challenges ahead. So, maybe instead of banning homework entirely, we should rethink how we give it and what it looks like.
Exactly. A new approach to homework could make learning more enjoyable, productive, and meaningful. Schools and teachers could really make a big difference in shaping the way students learn.
Well said, Marco. I think we've reached a good conclusion today. It's not about whether homework should be banned, but about how we can make it better for everyone.
We hope you enjoyed our debate on whether homework should be banned. It's a tricky topic with lots of different opinions, but remember, education is about finding what works best for each student. Keep exploring new ideas, stay curious, and always keep learning.
If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our podcast. Share it with your friends too, so we can all keep learning together. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you next time.